I, 25F, just embarrassed the fuck out of myself on a date last week with a new guy, 27 meters, and I'm super embarrassed now. I got out of an abusive relationship a while ago. The abuse pretty much ran the gamut of what a guy could do, with the exception of my dying. I've been in therapy for a long time, feel good now, and this guy asked me on a date so I went. I was super into it, until we went to hang out at his place and shirts came off. After a while of making out, feel like I'm in middle school, he stops kissing me, and just kinda looks at me weird for a while, but I was too nervous to really process it. He asked if I was okay, and I said yeah, and he asked again and I nodded. He goes, "You're kind of hyperventilating, that's all. You sure?" And I said yeah again, because he hadn't done anything wrong, but I also hadn't realized I was visibly freaking out till he said it, which made me feel so embarrassed. I told him I was good again, but he rolled off me and physically moved me to hold me, turned on a movie, and didn't say anything and kissed my forehead. I wasn't crying, but I was pretty dissociated during it in hindsight, and he caught it before I did. It was our first date. He's not a big texter, so he's made plans to see each other again, but I'm anxious about if he thinks I'm psycho now, or if he'll bail. He asked if I wanted to talk about it a few times after I was good again, and I just said I was only nervous before, but he kinda gave me this look where I could tell he didn't believe it and said we'd talk about it next time. Has this happened to anyone else? What was your reaction? He handled it great, but I'm humiliated. No need to feel embarrassed. He did the right thing. Just thank him instead of feeling mortified. It's fine. I agreed. Don't feel embarrassed, Opus. Oh holy cow, what a good dude. Don't feel embarrassed, you weren't ready for the next step and that's okay. And considering how he wanted to talk and tried to make you feel safer, he understands, even if he's not good at saying that. And really, Op, you should be proud of yourself. You're out there, taking risks and looking to move on with your life. So you had a momentary setback. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Talk it through with your therapist. I bet she agrees with me. Stay strong, Opus. Don't feel humiliated. You weren't ready and that's okay. Just talk to him about it. He obviously like you, and he's respectful. Seems to be the general consensus. Probably better to say something and make sure we are on the same page, even though I don't really want to have that convo. It was immature, but I previously kind of felt like I just wouldn't ever have to bring it up to anyone, but that's clearly not the best way to move forward here. He sounds like a really good guy who respects you. You've got no reason to be embarrassed, and you totally should keep seeing him. He obviously knows you want to take things slow and still wants to see you. He made plans with you for a second date, so I think you're just overthinking this. Meet up with him for second date and take things slow. And also, now that he knows this is how you react in these situations, you'll have a better understanding of you as well. You underwent a completely understandable reaction, PTSD, and it sounds like you knew guy is a keeper. Take things slow. Thank him for his decency. You sound like you're worth a bit of effort. My strongest advice for you is to take it slowly. Don't go back to his place or any new man's place so early on. Get to know men slowly. Keep dates in public for a few weeks at least. Please be patient and kind to yourself. If this guy's impatient or presses you to go back to his place, realize he isn't right for you. The right person will know you are worth the wait, and eventually you'll meet someone who will make you feel safe enough to confide in about your prior abuse. Trust me. I already knew him through mutual friends, but not super well, but he was very respectful and didn't push anything. But this is good advice, thank you. I was in the same situation. I was mad at myself until we went on our second date. After dinner, I started with, "Hey, I really like you, but I come with baggage and I know it's a lot to handle. I'm going to tell you everything now, and if you don't want to take it on, I understand, but I'd rather find out now, before I develop more feelings for you." He was super sweet and receptive. Anyways, 3 years later we are married and happy. Sending you luck. "Hey, I really like you, but I come with baggage and I know it's a lot to handle. I like this. though I'd also give the guy an option, whether he wants to hear it later, hear just a quick overview now, or hear everything in full detail now. I told him I was good again, but he rolled off me and physically moved me to hold me, turned on a movie, and didn't say anything, and kissed my forehead. He sounds like a sweetheart that was just worried about you. You don't have to tell him anything, but it could pay off to open up a little bit. Maybe you could tell him I came out of an abusive relationship. I will tell you about it in due time. I didn't realize I was kinda freaking out, and I was super embarrassed afterwards, but I wanted to thank you, because you were so sweet and understanding. Don't overthink it too much. You are still healing and this is a process. It will get better. I would absolutely word it just like this. This guy sounds like an angel. There is no need to feel embarrassed, but opening up and letting him in on your past may help if you are comfortable doing that. Being vulnerable is scary, I know, but this guy clearly has a grasp on life. Rolled off me and physically moved me to hold me, turned on a movie, and didn't say anything, and kissed my forehead. There isn't much better than a kiss on the forehead, honestly. Nor he did exactly what he should. It sounded like he really cares about you and wants your consent. I don't think you should be embarrassed one bit. He seems compassionate. I'm anxious about if he thinks I'm psycho now, or if he'll bail. Having been in his place, you're fine. He probably will have recognized you've been through a lot, and will just be a bit more cautious about making you uncomfortable. Just communicate. Tell him. People who like you will truly understand and make time and accept you. Communicate with him. If he can't accept it, then he will leave. Just means he wasn't worth your time. But he sounds like a good guy, so go for it. Sounds like he did what any sane person would do, and you absolutely didn't embarrass yourself. He does not think you're a psycho. He even made plans to see you again. Doesn't seem like he pressured you or anything, and handled it well. No reason to be embarrassed here. You did nothing wrong. Stick with him and see how things go. You may end up in a very happy relationship. The first time my current boyfriend got mad around me, I froze. We were in the middle of the woods taking pictures of the changing trees. I was in his truck and the wind knocked over his light stand. He yelled F*** really loud and I froze. I couldn't move or think. Just froze. He came over a few minutes later and asked if I was okay, and I couldn't even answer. He came for a hug and I pushed him away. So he held my hand instead and just waited. I was so embarrassed. He wasn't bothered. Over time he learned of my past. He gets it. It sounds like you've met a really incredible man. Take your time to share when you're ready. You freaked out, and he did the exact right thing. Seems like a good guy to keep seeing. You're amazing. You got out your comfort zone and this dude comforted you after is so sweet. Hey, don't be embarrassed. If I was in the guy's position, I would think it was likely due to past trauma. I wouldn't think less of you. I'm glad you're in a safer place than you were. Honey, you absolutely did not embarrass yourself. Don't let yourself phrase it that way. It only puts you in a worse mental space for no reason at all. You can say you have some old coping mechanisms to unlearn, and that you didn't even realize they were present/happening. Also, you have some serious trust and comfort building to do. Take your time. Lastly, men want to feel like the protectors and comforters, and this guy seems like one of those dudes, so he'll probably love to hold your hand through all of this. That's a good man. I wish you the best. Don't be embarrassed about healing. This guy, he cares about you. Like a lot. Talk to your therapist. Read them your post verbatim even. Your partner wants to protect and keep you safe. You found a good one. You can be vulnerable and share with him. If you are comfortable telling future dates/partners what is happening for you in these situations, can perhaps make it easier for the both of you to take care of each other in relation to the dissociations. I would consider telling what has happened in general terms, how it affects you today, what your needs are/how you prefer they act in these situations, and how the general progress for you looks like. This way, they don't have to second guess what is happening or how to react. You don't sound psycho at all, and your reaction makes sense when you consider how humans process trauma. As humans, we associate new impressions with old memories. Memories of dangerous situations in particular, as the brain does its best to prevent them from reoccurring. Suddenly, even a minute trigger in a safe situation can throw you back mentally to something you are struggling to leave behind. Recovery can be a long process with periods of progress and occasional setbacks, and taking things at your own pace is essential. He sounds great, and you did nothing wrong, all very normal. Must be hard to open up straight away. Seems like a good dude. I doubt he will judge you. Honesty is your friend. Not denying your feelings, but you have zero to be embarrassed about. Sounds like a really good guy. I hope you're okay now. I've been there, in a sense. I wasn't abused, yet I've dealt with plenty of anxiety and embarrassed myself before. Maybe ask him, hey, I want to talk with you about something. Can we have a coffee? And then you can open up as much as you're comfortable with over coffee and let him know how that may present itself physiologically. If he's understanding and worth it, he'll listen and be supportive. If not, you found out early. Also, please remember that everything is a learning experience and we are always growing. You'll handle this even better next time. Close bracket. Oh, that's so sweet of him. I hope you're okay. He sounds like a really good human. I would be thankful and explain why you reacted that way. I've heard of this thing. It's called talking. You talk to the person and tell them stuff. Like, hey, I just went through some personal stuff. Kind of still dealing with that, but I'm super into you. Yeah, no? Speak to him. Share as much as you're comfortable with and watch gut.